All right, we are live. Okay, hello, friends. I am super excited to welcome you to something brand new that I am doing called Women Making a Difference in Business series. So I'm super excited just to introduce the world to some of my amazing friends, some super inspiring women that really are making a difference in the world, inspiring change, empowering women, and really helping us all to live our best life. So my first guest is my friend Kelly Beaton, who happens to live in Cochrane, but her and I were actually perfect strangers until just, when was that? January, February?
Yeah, it was in the winter. Yeah.
Sometime this winter. Yeah. So we actually were connected through a mutual business. And so we were two strangers that came together and did a conference together. And I can tell you that the minute Kelly walked into the room, I knew there was something special about her. And we have to share you with the world, Kelly, because she is truly, I think if I was to describe you in one word, or not one word, because I never had just one word, but it would just be a breath of fresh air. And so why do I say that? Because Kelly is truly one of the most authentic, compassionate, and passionate women I have ever met. And literally, when you are in a room, you just shine. And so as soon as I met Kelly, I was intrigued. I was like, I need to know more about this woman. And I am so glad that our paths cross. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about Kelly, and then we're going to get her to chat. So as you know, as all of us women do, we tend to wear a lot of hats. So Kelly is a mom. She's got two beautiful kids. She's an educator. So she has worked as a teacher, a guidance counselor. She's now an assistant principal, but she's also an entrepreneur. And she does many things. So she actually owns and operates a rafting company. Like, how cool is that, with her husband? She owns an online health and wellness business. And she's also created an online course for women that really helps them to connect to your true self. And I actually took this course with Kelly. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well as we kind of carry on. So Kelly, welcome to my first live event, Women Making a Difference in Business. Thank you for agreeing to come on and be my guest tonight.
Thank you for having me, Becky. I'm so excited to be here and just have the opportunity to share some of those things that I'm passionate about and that light me up and keep me centered and keep my fire going as we talk about these things throughout tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. That is absolutely amazing. So first off, can you just tell us, maybe let's start with each of your roles separately. So
Sure.
You're a mom, of course, but you're also an educator. So how long have you been in that role?
Oh, I've been in education over 20 years, 21, 22, maybe something like that, formally as a teacher. So, but I think I was always involved in different roles of it before, even growing up. Like I would coach and lead teams and volunteer and all those sorts of things. But I began my education degree, actually, my career was working overseas. I worked in East Africa and Tanzania for a little stint at the very start of my career, and then came back and worked in a private school and then transitioned into public schools. And for the last 10, 12 years, have been in alternative education environments. So working in flexible, creative environments to help figure out ways for kids to access school in a way that makes them successful and get through their high school completion. I work mostly with older youth, so largely grade 9 to 12, although I have done work with grade 7 and 8 students too. And I love it. I'm really passionate about finding a way to, it goes back to that whole message, actually, right? Like working with youth, it's watching them feel empowered and remember who they are and the skills they have and what they can do and what they can achieve, and that they are capable, and that they have that all within them, and helping them to see that again is really,
I love that.
yeah.
And, I was thinking, because I know what you do with women. I'm not so familiar with your role with education, but it starts there, right? Like if we can empower the youth, I just think if we can learn those skills then,
Right.
at this age, at 47, I wouldn't be like, who am I and what am I trying to do? So I think that's so powerful.
Yeah, when you can walk into your 20s with that piece of you, and it's going to change and it's going to evolve, because of course it is, because we change and we evolve and we transmute, like all these things happen to us anyways. But if you can come in centered and grounded with belief in yourself and knowing that you have the ability to continue to move forward, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
And a lot of times kids get disconnected and they forget that they have these things within them and all the things that they are capable of and all the potential within them. So that really is my goal, is to help them remember.
Yeah, that is so true. Okay, I'm going down a rabbit hole. This might happen, but have you seen
Okay.
a change, like from the beginning of education to now? Have you noticed a change? Are kids needing anything differently now than they did 10 years ago? Or is it the same stuff, just in a different world?
I think it just comes faster, right?
Okay.
Over the last 20 years. I think there's a lot of the same difficulties and things that happen, but whereas before you had time to pause and reflect or disconnect and step away, everything is really quick and it's inundated and it comes at them at such a measure. And they're
Ah,
constantly so connected to things that aren't necessarily helpful, that that ability that we used to have to just go home and walk away from it is is a lot more difficult for them now. So I think
so
those
true.
are some of the skills we need to help them remember.
That's good. That's good. It's just good to hear that, because I'm just at the beginning stages of having teenagers, right? And I can see that their experience is very different than what I went through, many moons ago. So I'll probably be reaching out to you a few times, going, Kelly, I need some advice here, as a teacher, as a guidance counselor, and as my friend, right? So that's probably coming. Just a heads up. So
Absolutely.
you've had this role as an educator for many years, but then you also, you own a whitewater rafting company. Now, how cool is that? I have went rafting a few times in my, not for many years, in my 20s. I worked for Parks Canada at one point, and so I rafted in Jasper. My husband actually fell out of a boat one time when we were first dating on a rafting thing. But it's such an exhilarating experience. And I remember going both times I rafted, or three times, I guess, being really scared. And
Yeah.
interesting enough, my word for this year is fearless. I'm trying to live my life with more presence and less fear, and just do it. And so again, in walks Kelly into my life, and she's like, I got this cool rafting company. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I probably need to come rafting and to
I think you
face
do.
that fear again, right? So
Yeah.
how did this start? How did you get your start as a rafter?
Oh, it goes back, honestly, it coincides with my start in education, which is fascinating the way those two sort of parallel each other. But I went out there initially as a customer. My mom would organize trips for me and my two sisters and her every so often. And this was one of the trips that she set up. I had no idea this place even existed. And we went out to Hunter Valley, and got on the river, and I met the crew there. And I literally, walking in, I felt home. Like, that's the easiest way to explain it. I showed up in that space and I knew deep within me that this was a place that mattered to me, and I fell in love with it. So I spent the whole summer there, and I kayaked and I rafted and I hung out. And at the end of it, the previous owner, he laughed and he said to me, "You're always here. Do you want a job?" And I'm like, yes, yes, I do. And I was starting teaching as well, but this is a great way to fill my summers. So then I worked there as a guide, and I worked full time for a few years. And then as we had kids, I met Shay and we got married and we
Yeah.
started to have a family, but I still would go back and we'd take working holidays there and we'd stay and I'd guide. And then 8 years ago, we took over ownership of it.
Wow.
And it just slid, and it's been a beautiful place. My kids have already grown up there even before we owned it. They've been going out there as babies. Yeah, and it's just a really big piece and a part of who we are and what we do. So we're really fortunate to still be in there and have that carry on with us. It's one of the most special places I've ever been, and I've had the chance to travel a fair bit, and yeah, it's probably one of my favorites.
Oh, wow. I have goosebumps talking to you, and I find that often happens when I'm in your presence. I get goosebumps. So I actually spent some time. You guys want to go to her website, so Hunter Valley Adventures. So I actually went and checked out the website today, and there's some super cool videos on YouTube
Yeah.
of all the different things that you do, and I didn't even realize how many things you offer. So tell us a little bit about, where are you located and what do you offer?
So we're in the Ghost Public Land Use Zone, and we have 7 acres right on the upper Red Deer River. So really the Rocky Mountain foothills is where we are, about an hour from Cochrane, hour and a half from Calgary, to kind of give it some reference. And we offer a variety of things. We are off grid, which is one of the most beautiful things, and your cell phones don't work. So as soon as you come out there, you know you have the opportunity to reconnect to yourself and reconnect to the people you're with. You don't have the option to be distracted by other things happening, right? So we have whitewater rafting, and we do that a variety of trips. We have family trips for ages 6 and up. We have trips for ages 10 and up that are a bit more exciting. Hit some of the bigger rapids. We have a sport raft. It's a little 9.5-foot boat, super fun and sporty to go over with everything. We will take you in inflatable canoes and kayaks if you want to try an even smaller boat and get even more close up to the river and sort of see what she's all about. We do a fishing trip. So we have a raft and reel where you spend about 6 to 8 hours fly fishing, getting into all the places that you couldn't get to otherwise, but you also get to hit the rapids. Yeah, those are some of our big water activities, but then we have a bunch of stuff that we do on the land. So we do outdoor education work with schools and youth groups, and we're working at offering with that with other groups too. Women Who Explore is a group that we've been working with for probably the last 4 or 5 years. And they bring out a group of women and we spend the weekend with them and we make sure we get them out on the water. We go hiking, we can talk basic camp skills, we do some riverside yoga. We have a team building course that we've built that we can walk you through and we can facilitate and have everyone go through the experiences there. We designed an adventure quest that's great for families, and you come out and you get your little backpack of gear and your GPS and your story, and you follow the path in the storyline and complete that activity. Yeah, and you can stay. We have cabins, so you can come and stay. We just built a great big outdoor kitchen this year, and it's got a camp chef, it's got a barbecue, all kinds of cool things that we can do there. And so you just bring your stuff and you can stay for a while and just experience being away and surrounded by trees and water and starry nights. There's no light or noise pollution. It's a beautiful place to be. Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like delicious, because isn't that what we all need? Like, life is so busy, it's hectic. It's especially in June right now. All of us parents and teachers are just like, I'm counting down the days to just, having no emails, no drop-offs, no pickups, any of that stuff. So it sounds like you do stuff for everybody. So whether you're an individual, a couple, a family, like if you have a whole team in your business, you can come out there. What's the best place to connect with you? Would it be through your website?
Through the website and the email on there. That's easily the best way to do it. Yeah, we do. As I said, there's no cell service out there, and we do have a landline, but we're back out and on the river and out in nature lots, right? So if you do send us an email, then we're really likely to see it and be able to respond in a timely way.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm curious, with this particular part of your life, what's the biggest life lesson that you've learned maybe on the water, or is there one?
There is. It's learning that there's flow, right? And trusting that flow. And that in those moments where things look the most chaotic and scary and frightening and intense, there's a flow if you let yourself find it and you follow that. And when you find that flow, it's a beautiful thing that happens, and you drop in and everything moves as it needs to. And then trusting it is a huge thing. I remember when I was learning to guide, my Joe, who trained me, he would say, "Don't fight the river." And when that clicked for me and I understood there's so many ways in life that you got to think about not fighting the river.
So true. I'm just having 100 thoughts, right? And Kelly actually talks about that in the course that you do. So that was maybe, again, I've lost track of time, a month ago or 2 months ago. Kelly invited me to take part in her online course. And I was like, yes, I am in, because as many of you know, I'm really on a path of personal growth and kind of just connecting back to me, because I have been raising kids for, Ava's 15 now. And it's been the greatest gift of my life. But what happens as women is we sometimes lose pieces of ourselves along the way. And actually, my husband and I were just talking about this last night, how even in our relationship, how he's become dad and I've become mom, and we lose pieces of that. And then as in this stage for us, as our kids are needing us less, we're going, wow, we need to come back and connect to ourselves and then to each other. And so this course that you have, it's called the Elemental Framework for Loving Others Deeply Without Losing Yourself. Now, I have done this course. I highly recommend it. tell us how this came about. Why did you create this?
The reason it came into being is it's information that I wanted to share because I've walked it. I've walked this whole path. I am a feeler, and I love big and I love deep, and I experience things wholeheartedly. Like I jump in and I jump in fully. And when you do that and you give so much, and you can lose who you are and lose how you stay connected to yourself and how you ground to yourself. And I've walked through that confusion in a lot of different ways. And so finding out how I was able to reconnect and stay centered so that I could do the things I want to do and share the love I want to share and inspire the people I want to inspire and have the energy to show up for all of them wholeheartedly. That's what inspired me to think about it and figure out how could I put this together, these things that I've learned over 45 years. How do I put that together in a way that would make sense for other women to follow and try to apply and integrate into their life in a way that is fitting to me and resounds, right? And for me, it's nature. It all always falls back to nature. It has since I was a kid. I would disappear into the trees, I would disappear into the fields, and I would just be. So tying that back into the elements and working it that way, and that idea of our four elements and how when we're with them and we're connected, we then find our center and we can sit there. And when we can sit there, we can share all that passion and energy while still caring for ourselves. So
I love it. And I found when I did the course with you, Kelly's just very, as you can see with her speaking tonight, she's very articulate and she's very thoughtful. And when in the course itself, she shares her personal story and her journey, but then also gives very actionable items as to what you need to do to walk the path that she has walked. And I took pages of notes when I was on it. And some of the things I'm like, okay, I've heard that before, but I'd heard scatterings, and the way that you put it together with the four elements, it just really resonated so much with me, particularly because you brought it back to nature, which really is that it's what we all need. The science of grounding and healing ourselves with being outside is just, it's profound. So we've got the link here underneath. So if you're interested in checking out this course, if you're a woman who's been busy, you've been raising kids, and you find that you're just like, I need to get back to myself, check out this link. We'll also drop it in the comments below this live, but I really invite you to check it out because it was really, really profound. So I'm sure you can all see why I love Kelly so much. She is just truly a ray of sunshine. So, we talked about kind of the lessons of the water, but if we go back to education for a second, is there any kind of lesson there, like that you've learned over the years working with kids, or or with all three, like just how they all interconnect?
It's that we all have stories, and we all have beautiful stories to share, and we all have wisdom to share with each other, so much wisdom. And so if we can pause and if we can be comfortable with that silence and hear it, we'll find the beauty in everybody, in everything, the story, the knowledge, all that. And we're all so connected. That would be a big piece of that, and remembering that.
That's so true. I just read something about that today, about being comfortable in silence. And it's funny how we do grow, because I remember at 20, as I would meet new people, and if it got quiet, I would feel awkward. And then again, I have to say, when I met Kelly, we did sit in silence together in moments, and it was like the most natural thing in the entire world. So yeah, Kelly, just thank you for being who you are, for truly making a difference in the world. You help kids in the school environment, you help adults really to overcome fears and to build confidence on the water. You're connecting people back to nature, which is so important. And then with this program that you've done, this online program, you're really helping women to connect back to themselves. And so I just thank you for being you. And for those of you that are watching tonight, I really just invite you to connect with Kelly. So it's Kelly Beaton, Beaton. You want to send her a friend request on Facebook. Are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram too. Yeah.
Find her on Instagram, all the things. I don't know. Check out, I'm going to put it back up here again. So make sure you write this down. You want to go check out her website, huntervalleyadventures.ca. You need to get out there, take your friends, take your family, take your team, just get out there and heal and experience life. And then if you are a woman, you want to check out this link, which again, we'll put in the comments, but this is such an amazing program that she's done. So I invite you to connect with her and just to start living your best life, because we only got one, so we got to make the best of it. So yeah, so thank you, Kelly. That's all. Any parting words, or are we?
Thank you for having me, Becky. Yeah,
Okay.
I really appreciate it. And I value that you have come into my life and that we are able to share this energy, and you inspire me and help keep me moving forward. So thank you for being you.
And then I have to say, and you're going to hold me accountable to this, I am going to look on your website again. I looked today, but I am going to book myself out there, because I've been a little bit fearful the last couple of years, and I want to overcome that. And I want to bring my kids out there, and I want to just show them what is possible. So we're gonna connect soon. Yeah.
No, we'll put pictures.
Okay. Watch for our pictures of our rafting adventure together. It's going to be epic. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Kelly, for being here.
Have a good night.
Bye.